I'm Drew.
I'm Tony.
And this is Back for Our Future, the show that goes back to look at our past, possibly yours, and inform ourselves about something. And that something is 90s so far. It's been 90s movies and music. Tony, the show is here again, and we're kicking it off with a whammer of a tribute.
Yeah.
And we got to jump into that. We got a little double stack there. And then we'll jump over to whatever time's left. We'll talk about movies. Before we get to that, just how you been? How's life, buddy?
Doing okay. Surviving, watching watching my basketball, because that's what I do. Right. Love it. So I'm having a lot of fun doing that. I got a top 10,000 bracket right now on ESPN.
I was just about to ask you where your
Yep.
bracket was. You knew that was coming. You
It's
knew it.
top 9.9 percentile. Got a top 10,000 bracket, which is, I mean, you hear the number 10,000, you're like, well, that's a lot, but there's 27 million brackets on the
Right.
on the site, so
Yeah.
the top 10,000 is actually quite good. So yeah, I mean it's been going pretty well. So I'm happy.
Do you wanna give us? I don't want to jinx anything. Do you want to give us your prediction on the all the way, or not jinx it?
No, I don't want to jinx it because too many people will hear it.
Tony's
Like,
preventing you're preventing inside gambling is what you're doing. It's inside stock trading. It's inside gambling with Tony.
I mean, I guess technically we would be on Wednesday. Our show comes on Wednesday, so that is before the Final Four, so people could actually use the information. But I'm not going to present. I'm not going to give it. There's one team. There's one team that I have going to the Final Four. That if they make it, that bracket goes from being like 10,000 to probably like in the top 1,000.
Wowzers!
Probably most people.
Wowzers!
So it's one of those types of things. So
I'm sure.
so I'm trying not to say too much.
No, I don't blame you. Don't jank. And look, and for those of you who have not listened to the show, you can go back and listen to previous episodes. There's a reason why I ask that question before just saying something because
But it's been
because
a fun, it's been a fun tournament I've seen. So
that's good. That's good. I know you love it. I know it's one of your favorite events of the year. So
some of it was
insane.
So we had fun.
Well, that's cool. That's very cool. All right. Well, let's kick it off. I'll let you just kind of steer it because we're going to go into. We got two tributes. One is an exclusive family tribute. The other one is a Chuck Norris one. But I'll let you kick it off and however you want to set this up, and then we can kind of go from there.
Well, we lost my great uncle Jerry Harris, who isn't somebody I hung around with all the time, but we had a kind of a special bond. We used to talk about juju bells all the time, the little bells that you can eat. He loved them, and so we would talk about those like constantly. He was great. So him and I had, he was a good guy. I didn't get to see him all the time. Most I was telling you before the show, mostly just family functions that involved more than a few people with special times and stuff like that. But special occasions and stuff. But it is what it is. I mean, I love the guy. He was 88 years old, and like I was saying to you, he was the important thing here kind of is also that he's the last of my grandmother's siblings. So there were six of them, including my grandmother, and they're all gone now. So that kind of sucks. So there's there's kind of a funny story that comes out of it. I don't know if my mom really wanted me to tell it, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
That's what we do on the show, bro. That's what we do.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of a life lesson too, I think, and so I think it's good for a nostalgia podcast like ours as well. It's like, man, I was out of town when this happened because I was doing a movie somewhere, and I think it was about 10 years ago. It might even been slightly slightly longer than that, but it's somewhere in the last decade or so. And there was a family reunion that was held at my parents' house. And so they had this family reunion, and I don't know what he brought over in this Tupperware, but he brought some kind of dish in the Tupperware. Okay, and it's ridiculous, right? And so he leaves, and I'm not sure if he didn't know he had it or didn't have it. I don't know. I don't know where his logic was at this point, but because he's in his 70s at least, somewhere in his 70s at this point, right? And he all of a sudden just inexplicably stopped talking to my mom. Right, my mom, like, she would call her once in a while and stuff like that, and see how he was doing, and call family members and check up on him and stuff. And he just wouldn't have anything to do with my mom at all, nothing. It's like, where'd that come from? So my mom's like trying to figure this out. So she asked, our Uncle Teddy, our Uncle Skip, and because he kind of talked to him and stuff like that too, and other family members. And apparently he was mad because he had left this Tupperware over at the house, and my mom never gave it back. And my mom's like, I don't have his Tupperware. Like, I don't have this item. And, and so he stopped talking to my mom over a piece of Tupperware. That's what happened.
Larry David, dude. It's such a
It's so crazy. It is. It's right on a Curb Your Enthusiasm, no doubt. And so it's Looney Tunes, right? So he stops talking to my mom over this piece of Tupperware, and my mom's like, he passes away. So like they don't talk for like the last decade of his life. It's pretty sad. And so then he's talking to his daughter. He was like, "Oh yeah, we cleaned out his house ages ago. When he was still alive, and we found the Tupperware in his house." So, so he took it with him and had it the whole time, and just got mad about whatever. And I don't know, man. But that's the, the moral of the story. There is like, don't let something so small destroy your happiness. Like that. Really, I mean, come on, like don't talk to your niece for like a decade until then you're gone, and over that. I mean, that's silliness. So don't let that. Let's not let any like little crap like that happen, and try not to let your anger, get in the way of your
right,
happiness. That's kind of the
right.
moral of it, which is I find to be just, it is very Curb Your Enthusiasm, but it's very silly at the same time.
Well, it's
So
it's also kind of fitting. I just saw a clip of someone interviewing Chuck Norris. I forget who it was.
right.
It's an older clip, and they're like, how do you stay so positive? He's like, I just don't worry about anything. Like here's this guy that just like has done all these great action movies. I mean, obviously very well known. He's not only an internet meme, ladies and gentlemen. He has a tremendous career that we're going to probably touch on here in a minute. But like this guy's just completely floored at how calm and cool Chuck Norris is, and Chuck is just like, bro, I don't worry about anything. And this is pre the meme, right? This is pre the Chuck Norris is the world spins around him and all those fun little jokes that have come out of it. Like the guy just was chill. That's the trick. Like you just don't carry it, as you said, don't carry it with you.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I mean, he also learned that in his martial arts training as well.
Absolutely.
His martial arts training
Absolutely.
is a big part of that. I mean, staying calm, staying cool, and breathing, and everything that goes along with martial arts and in that style. And I mean, he was heavily into that, obviously, with his friendship with Bruce Lee and so forth. And I mean, we're gonna get into some of his movies here in a second and talk about Chuck Norris, because I know you and I were both big fans,
Oh, yeah.
because we were talking about him all the time growing up and everything. So we love Chuck, and we like, you can tell. I mean, we're big fans of all these action guys. But we've talked about Jeff Speakman and Seagal and John Claude and all these dudes. We loved all those action movies like that. We loved all those. Chuck was, one of the first on the scene with that, and And so yeah, we're gonna dive into. Do you have any favorites? Do you have any Chuck Norris favorites? Favorite things from Chuck?
Oh,
Favorite movies?
dude, look, hands down, it's Chuck Norris, Lee Marvin,
That's
Delta
good.
Force. Dude, Delta Force is my. When I was a kid, I probably rented that movie every other week. I loved it. I loved it so much. And this is before, like, I think the rest of the world knew. I mean, I think adults knew who Delta was, but kids didn't. We had G.I. Joe, but these guys were like the real life G.I. Joe. I adored that movie.
Mm.
And it was rated R, but it was a rated R movie that my mom would allow me to watch time and time again. And I mean, I did. I rented it so much. It was crazy. So for me, it's I love a lot of Chuck Norris movies, but Delta Force is the one that's just it's the one that I always go back to. Always, I just loved it.
Delta Force is amazing, and that came out in 1986. Um, ironically, the same year my brother was born. But yeah, I mean, Delta Force is a classic. It may be his best action movie. I mean, it's definitely up there for sure. And of course, it led to a sequel,
Yep.
Delta Force 2, in 1990, because it's one of his 90s movies. And I like both of them, to be honest with you, but the first one is the classic and the better film, of course. He did a lot of those canon films.
Buddy, Cannon. I mean, we don't get. I certainly can, and I've talked about the movie Jim Cotta before. I don't get very far in my love of film without Canon films,
Oh no,
which is
that's
part of the reason why I forever owe Chuck Norris, because I don't get excited about wanting to make movies. I mean, I love Star Wars and stuff like I had these things, and you've heard us on the show talk about them. But my God, buddy, I watched so many of the Canon films, all of them. And these were movies that are being. There's a great documentary out there. I don't remember the name of it. You can find it. But the great thing about Canon was these asshats were literally making these movies selling a poster. They would slap Chuck Norris on this poster, put some kind of title on it, Invasion USA, and they would sell the hell out of the movie before they even made it. It was amazing.
and quite. I mean, most of the time they wouldn't even put a photo of him on there. They might put his name on there. You know,
Right.
a name and a title that they've just come up with, and they would sell that. I mean, it was the posters weren't anything fancy on a lot of occasions.
No.
They did have some fancy art when the movies came out, but they have some great posters.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
guy who collects posters, I mean, they have some great posters for their films, but they wouldn't necessarily release those as part of what we're talking about now. Um, and yeah, I mean, Canon Films is amazing, and you're not a fan of action films in this era if you're not a fan of Canon. I mean,
You gotta be,
they came up with the best stuff. I mean, it was amazing.
buddy.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he did a lot. He did a lot of that stuff, and we're gonna get into some of his highlights here, because I'm a big Chuck Norris guy, and I mean, of course, you can't talk about Chuck without talking about his relationship with Bruce Lee, which of course is they were very close friends, and of course, one of the earliest Chuck Norris movies is The Way of the Dragon, which is a classic martial art.
100%.
I mean, it's like one of the quintessential martial arts movies. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being on a set with Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris?
No, bro. I mean, just the idea. I think a lot of people that maybe don't know the history, they know who Chuck Norris is. They don't know go back. Like that movie has inspired the Wu-Tang Clan. I mean, it goes all the way down the line. That movie is like legendary across the board for everything that it did. And I think a lot of people don't realize it, but it's also this fact that you have Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee together. Like that is just, as an 80s kid, dude, that's every playground battle ever is over that kind of stuff, you know?
Came out in 1972, so that's like even a few years before I was born. You were born as well, but yeah, it's a classic. I mean, Bruce Lee's amazing, Chuck Norris amazing, and this is kind of where you find out about him, and he was friends with Steve McQueen as well, who like kind of told him to hey, you can take this seriously, and probably be in acting for a long time. And kind of took that advice to heart, and released some good films. I mean, he did Breaker Breaker is going to be kind of his next like
Oh,
big
yeah. 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 Yeah.
in 1977, and that's a good movie. Um,
It is good.
it's very good. And then Good Guys Wear Black, which I think is quite
I don't know
awesome.
if I've seen that. I don't know if I've seen that one. I don't know
19,
if I've seen that now that you say that. I don't think I've seen it.
yeah, 1978. I mean, again, it goes back to this whole thing. Like, if it's easier to see movies when you're alive and they're in front of you than movies, after you've been born and they've already come. It's like you got to catch up. So there's probably a couple movies on here that you got to catch up on. A Force of One in 1979. And then in 1980 he does one that I is one of my
Oh,
favorites.
yeah.
The
Oh, yeah.
Octagon. The
Yeah.
Octagon.
Octagon's rad.
The
It's
Octagon
so
is
good.
great. And
Yeah,
if
it's good.
you've seen that movie in a long time, go back and watch it because that may be Chuck Norris one of his best movies for sure, in my opinion. I love it. He does An Eye for an Eye in 81, Silent Rage in 82, Forced Vengeance in 82 as well, which is really, really good. He does Lone Wolf McQuade.
Bro, that
Like,
movie's gangster. Straight
yeah,
up, solid, good movie. 100%.
amazing movie. And then, of course, in 84, he does a little movie, maybe you've heard of it, called Missing in Action.
And that was one of the ones that really I didn't see that obviously because I was 6. But like when the missing in action movies after Delta Force was allowed, then I could go back and check out like Lone Wolf McQuade, Missing in Action 1, and of course you're going to go back and tell us that there's a sequel here in a second, but like I
Yeah.
got to experience all of those, and this was my childhood, man. There's nothing more playground, and that's what I mean is like once the door opened to Chuck Norris, it was like playground antics forever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Missing in Action 2 in the next year, in 85. He does Code of Silence in 85, which is funny because Code of Silence is one of the movies that actually is not a canon film. He shot that outside canon group, and maybe one of his best movies. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's also the artwork on Code of Silence looks like the artwork from Stallone's Cobra.
yeah, it does have a lot of that. Yeah,
It has that vibe too.
does have that vibe too. He's standing there. Yeah. Yeah. Invasion USA in 1985.
Awesome movie.
Awesome movie. You've already touched on Delta Force, which is, listen, if you haven't seen Delta Force, first of all, you got to ask what's happened in your life. Okay? What's going on that you've not seen this film? It's been talked about for ages. It's a classic movie. It's got classic actors. Go watch it. Lee Marvin, man. Come on, dude. Um,
I
Chuck,
love the cartoon, bro. I
Chuck
loved it.
Karate Commandos was amazing.
I loved it.
The Chuck Norris
I
cartoons and action figures, I loved those.
Yeah, I am 8 years old, and you've given me a cartoon that rivals GI Joe.
Yeah,
Competition is a good thing. I am all in as a kid. Now you only get a few episodes. I don't think it was very long. It didn't
no, it
last very long.
wasn't super long by any means. It only lasted like several episodes, but it was pretty amazing. I mean, at this point, you're spawned like Chuck Norris action figures as well, because like, why would those not be out? You know what I'm saying? I mean, Chuck Norris should be an action figure.
Yep.
But
Here's
after
my
that,
second favorite. Second favorite Chuck Norris right here. Yep.
Firewall, yeah.
Second favorite.
Also in 1986, 1986 is a very good year for Chuck Norris because this is inevitably this is your favorite year.
100%. Look, Firewalker with Louis Gossett Jr.
That was great.
is, dude, it's so good. And listen, I don't know where it went. Somewhere down here, I have on vinyl the Uncharted, which is a video game soundtrack.
But yeah,
And if you go back, so I didn't care for the Uncharted movie just because I didn't think they cast it right. If you want to see Uncharted in a way, it's a little bit different, but you want to see something closer to Uncharted, go watch Firewalker, because this movie is closer to the Uncharted series. Those of us that know that game and are fans, it is closer to that reality. You get a very sarcastic bunch of dudes. The movie has some great comedic moments. It has like weird action, weird sort of ethereal crap. It's brilliant. I love that movie. It's right up there with Delta, but Delta, because of Lee Marvin, just goes over the top. Louis Gossett is amazing in this movie, but Lee Marvin just carries it over.
yeah. I mean, this is around that time frame that you got Lou Gossett doing these types of action movies as well, like Iron. I mean, it's like this is a great time for people that love action films. I mean, the '80s were kind of like that, but I mean, you had guys that were just had great timing and could deliver lines and just amazing. They didn't necessarily just have a look. They didn't have a pretty boy look or anything like that. They were men. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
And these guys were and they were gruff, and that was okay. And they had great comedic timing, and they were great actors. And so they were, you believed them as great actors. And yeah, I mean, Lou Gossett would fall in that category as well. He's incredible. 1988, you got Missing in Action 3, Braddock. Pretty good movie too. And all the Missing in Action films are pretty good.
yeah, they're
You know,
fun.
uh, 1988, also Hero and the Terror. Now this is a pretty damn good movie, and that is underrated in his catalog, because Hero and the Terror is pretty darn good. I enjoyed this film a lot. I've seen it quite a few times over the years.
Yeah,
Then,
it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones that I remember watching as a kid on like HBO or whatever, and I would see it or Cinemax or whatever it was. But it's one of those ones that I've seen it a ton. Probably not as much as Delta Force, but I've seen it a lot. And it's one of those ones that like it's a little more of a mature movie. It's not quite as it's nothing Chuck did was cartoonish, but it's not quite as fantastical. It's got a little more. It's got a little more brevity to it.
so the '90s are going to start. He's not going to do as many movies in the '90s because he's going to be doing a hit TV show for most of the. So it doesn't really. I mean, you don't really need to do any movies if you're on a show that lasts 9 seasons. So he's going to start out with Delta Force 2, 1990, which is obviously we talked about that one. He's going to do The Hitman in 1991, which is actually a pretty good movie.
I don't think I haven't seen that one. I remember the key art, but I don't think I've seen it. I do know the next one.
That 1991.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't remember it. I just
Yeah,
don't remember it if I did see it. It doesn't click.
if you can find it, you should check it out because it's pretty cool. He's got like long hair and stuff. It's great.
I'll go check it.
And then of course in 1992 he's going to do Sidekicks, which this might be Drew's favorite movie of the year. 82.
It's, Jonathan Brandis is dude. This movie's great.
It's really good. It is good.
It's a good movie.
No, I enjoyed it. I did like Sidekicks. I just remember we've told this story. We've already done 1982 on the show, but we've done this. Listen, you end up at my front door talking about this movie, which I
Yeah.
thought is hilarious. Talking about how much it is. Sidekicks is cool. Wind of the Wire, which is a TV movie. Chuck stars as himself. 1994, he does Hellbound, and then he's at this point he's doing Walker Texas Ranger because that starts in like '93 and going to go till 2001.
Good
But
grief.
in 1995, he's got Top Dog. Have you seen that one?
I have seen that movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Is that a canon movie?
No, it's
Okay.
not.
I was just curious. I didn't know if it was because it we're in the Turner and Hooch era. And so dog movies, like these producers are like, you know what really worked was Tom Hanks and a dog. Let's put Chuck with a dog. See what happens.
Well, I mean, well, so you say it like Tom Hanks started that, but that's not what happened. What happened was Jim Belushi.
Oh yeah. K9. Yeah.
So Canine's the first one to come along. Then Turner and Hooch, and then everybody, yeah, because now you've had two pretty decent sized actors at the time doing dog movies, so now you got dog movies. We still get this ad to this day, by the way, a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. Uh, Forest Warrior in 1996. Logan's War Bound by Honor in 1998. The TV show Sons of Thunder. He's going to do some episodes of that. Martial Law, of course, which is a fun TV show back in 2000. Does an episode of that, which I thought was kind of cool. Put him on that. And then he's mostly like TV stuff, from here on out. He does like mostly TV movies, Walker Texas Ranger movies, and The President's Man, A Line in the Sand, which is, then he does, he pops up, and at this point he's going to pop up mostly as Chuck Norris and a lot of stuff, right? Because now at this point he's the man, and he'll pop up in sitcoms and such, and he's in Dodgeball, of course, in that great
Yep.
cameo.
Yep. Yep.
And he's in the Expendables 2 as
It's a
Booker,
it's a
2012.
look, I think here's the funnest thing about the Expendables. The Expendables is guys that must have been our age, they grew up the same with these characters like we did, and then suddenly they have this idea to make movies. So they take all of these action guys and just jam them in. And we had waited for a Chuck Norris one, and we get it in Expendables 2, which is actually my favorite of the Expendables series, to be honest with you. It's my favorite one.
The movies, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's pretty amazing to see all these guys, and they kind of mix them up with newer actors as well, so they can sell some tickets to some younger folks as well, because not everyone wants to watch Sylvester Stallone, 70 years old, in an action movie. But I really enjoy those films. But that's kind of where he is at this point, and then he finishes his career last year in Zombie Plane.
Have you seen the ratings on that movie? The IMDb ratings, which I don't care about at all, but it's just hilarious. It's at an 8.2.
Probably liked by mostly crew members,
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, yeah. It's only 17 ratings. It's an 8.2 with 17 ratings. That's perfect.
But Zombie Plane kind of sounds like a canon film, does it not?
It really does. And the cast has got Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Chuck Norris, man. I mean, one of the all time greats, no doubt about it. I don't really rank these action stars, in my head, but it kind of always my thing about movies has always been whatever the mood, wherever the mood takes me, right? That's where, and like I talked about Steven Seagal before too, and people like that. I don't really care for much of him nowadays, but man, those first like 6 or 7 movies that he comes out with are dynamite, So,
Yeah.
but there's kind of an expiration date on the action star in a lot of ways,
Absolutely.
and so you just kind of have to enjoy them while they're there.
And look, and his library stuff is fun. I mean, I get it. Walker Texas Ranger is a cultural at 9 seasons. It's a cultural thing. I know lots of guys that watched it with their grandparents or their dad or whatever, and that show just held on. They rebooted it later with Jared Padalecki or whatever his name is, and I think those kind of things are. I think the thing about Chuck Norris that will always and forever live in my brain is like he was kind of like everybody's cool uncle. That's
Right.
how I always saw him. I felt like I knew him a little bit. He did cool shit. He would show up, do some karate, and just he would leave the family dinner. He would swift kick somebody in the face and then he would go away. And then he'd come back next year for another swift kick at Thanksgiving. And I think that's the real beauty of him is his legacy is never got tarnished. He did some, lower budget movies, sure. But like you look at his catalog and the guy like inspired so many people. He became a cultural icon just by being himself. And that's the kind of celebrity that we don't, and I'm making a statement, this is my opinion, that's the kind of celebrity we don't see a lot of anymore is someone who can just go out, do their craft, and then still be considered a good dude at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know?
No, 100%. I agree with that. And, one of the trends I'd love to see stopped, and it will probably never happen because, nice throw. Did you make it?
Sure didn't.
Okay. All right. Well, if you didn't get to see that,
It bounced. It literally bounced around the rim of the trash can and fell out.
so it was close. It was a close shot. It's like a
Yeah.
buzzer beater that missed. It's all good.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of the trends I'd love to see go away is somebody passing away, and then you go on social media and you see a bunch of crap written about this human being because they didn't have the quote unquote right view, the right political views. So they
Right.
immediately think that they're a horrible human being because they don't think exactly the same way they think. I don't know where that got started, but man, does that have to stop? Because I mean, I'm friends with literally everybody. Like I have friends that have every viewpoint you can possibly imagine, from every race you can possibly imagine, and it's like you just gotta stop that. It just can't be. It can't be that they don't have the right political views as you, so you just got to write garbage about them online and say how much of a garbage human being they must have been.
Yeah.
I've never met this human being in my life. I don't know anything about him. I was seeing posts from people that didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
They'd
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
seen. They'd never even seen his movies. Don't even know anything about him, but they knew something about a couple of political views. So of course he's got to be a horrible human being. He must be. He just has to be. I don't talk politics with any of my friends. Might mention something once or twice every once in a while to a friend or something like that. That's about it. And knows that. And you know, that's the way lots of people are. And that's and Chuck had some views and that's fine. Whatever he wants to do is what he does. But he was a pretty good guy. And I've worked with I didn't work with Chuck. I did work with Eric Norris, and I did work with Aaron Norris, who have been stunt guys on stuff that I've worked on, various things, and very nice guys. Uh, you know, so I mean, look, I mean that's that. Yeah, I just wish that trend would just go away and never come back, but it won't because social media is full of desperate people trying to make desperate comments to try to get a couple rousing comments made and a few likes from people that share equally despicable viewpoints. So it is won't stop me from liking Chuck Norris or any other person for that matter.
Same. Same. Unless you're some scumhole like Harvey Weinstein, Chuck didn't go down that path, folks. We don't have that. We don't have those stories about Chuck.
Well,
So, like,
if you got a guy who's raped 60 women, that's a different that might be different.
that's what I'm saying.
You know,
That's what I'm saying. I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
if that's what you're fighting against, then that's fine. I get that. You being mad because the guy has a different political viewpoint than you, well, that's something that can probably easily be talked out in seconds if you were to actually have a conversation with the person. But I mean, instead they go down a whole different lane and just gotta be the worst person of all time. He's disrespected every race in the book. Well, Chuck Norris got along with a very diverse group of people. I mean, he's buddies with Bruce Lee. Okay, doesn't get any more diverse than that.
Yep. Yep.
So I mean, come on, get with it. so sick of that. I'm so sick of that garbage. It's trash, and it's been happening way too often with a lot of celebrities and a lot of people. And since you don't actually know any of these people, and Drew and I've met our fair share of celebrities, just in our work and stuff like that, so we do know a lot of these people. Um, ask us about them because we know a lot of them. You can do that. I mean, just as far as just assuming that how their heart speaks and how their brain works, and you don't know anything, so just stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably all bots anyway.
It probably is all bots, but you do see this stuff pop up quite a bit. You're just like, I don't know if that's a bot or not. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't, and one of those trends I'd love to see just disappear. And anytime you report that stuff, they come back and they say, "Oh no, it's allowed." It's like, well, why is that allowed?
Right. 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 Well, let's jump into March. Um, there's a couple of movies in here that I'm gonna say. There's one that I really enjoy a great deal. This is where we've talked about before. Now I said this last month, February, last episode. We have like this banger of a. I mean this is the most insane week of movie or month of movies you've ever seen, and March is not necessarily the same, in my
Well,
opinion.
yeah, no, I mean, listen, there was always months that are kind of slower because of things that are going on. So like you got a month full of March Madness tournaments and stuff like that. So sometimes they don't have all the best movies come out in March. And same thing for January when it's cold and stuff like that, and there's snow on the ground, and so sometimes they don't have all their best movies come out in January, and sometimes they'll put some better movies out in February because you're dealing with like Valentine's Day and things
Right,
like that.
right.
People go out a little bit more and such. So that's what they're strategically trying to find spots on the schedule for these movies is a challenge, and quite honestly, it's an art form. This is something that I've studied relentlessly over the years, and it's interesting to go back and look at the different holidays and how much each one brings in, and it's definitely an art form to do it. And some people are really good at it, and some studios are not as good as you think they should be. Uh, and because of movies, some of these companies and production companies and studios go away because of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is what it is. But we start out with March 3rd, 1985. We're going to start out with the movie Hideaway. You ever seen this one?
No, I genuinely I do not remember this movie. Maybe if you say who's in it or whatever, it'll trigger something. But I could not. When I was looking at the show notes, I was like, I don't know that one. I have no idea.
So it's based on the 1992 novel by Dean Koontz, who was a big horror writer, and it stars. It's got a really good cast actually. It's Jeff Goldblum and Christine Lottie, Alicia Silverstone, Jeremy Sisto, Alfred Molina, Ray Don Chung. It's a horror movie.
Good grief.
And it's basically about this guy um, who's like Jeff Goldblum's basically playing this guy who survives a near death experience, and because he's done this, afterwards he finds himself kind of psychically connected to the serial killer.
Interesting.
So it's kind of a cool plot.
Yeah, it's fun.
We don't always get these days, and it did pretty well. It made like 26 million at the box office, so not too bad. And of course, Alicia Silverstone's pretty big at this time, in 1995.
Yeah.
So they got her in this movie. But yeah, it's a pretty good film. I'd recommend it. It plays as kind of a horror thriller in a lot of
Okay.
ways.
All right.
But it's not a slasher or anything like that. It's just a good thriller type film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine Dean Koontz is pretty much if he hasn't already at this point. I know he's put out a bunch of books by then, but like his movie translations, I'm wondering if this is like the not the beginning because he's had some other ones, but
He's
we'll
got
start to
movies.
see him peaking.
Yeah, yeah. This is around that time frame. Yeah, he's had some stuff come out before.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but yeah, this is not usually starring Alicia Silverstone though.
Yeah, no, I mean, even Jeremy Sisto, he must have been young in this, so it's kind of that's fun cast.
But Jeff Goldblum,
Yeah,
come on,
young Jeff Goldblum. Yeah,
you know, medium age Jeff Goldblum, 1985. Got Jurassic Park working around this time frame. So,
yeah, yeah. All right, I'll see if I can find it. I got to watch a Chuck Norris movie before I put that one on my list, though.
no, I get that. I get that. So then we got here. This is one of Drew's favorites right here.
Oh boy.
March 3rd, same day. Man of the House,
Yeah.
starring our boy Chevy Chase and Drew's boy Jonathan Taylor Thomas,
Yeah.
Farrah
No,
Fawcett, and George Wendt, Norm from Cheers.
that's fun.
Yeah,
Farrah Fawcett and George Wendt in something is a fun idea anyway. That's like a interesting ingredient on a cheeseburger.
yeah, right. You'd never get it today. Both deceased, just they'd probably never do it. It is a
No,
great.
look. I loved Farrah Fawcett.
Of course.
I think she's a smoke show. I get it, but I also George Wendt. I don't know what I think I was on YouTube Shorts and I got served like just a classic Cheers clip. And if you don't watch Cheers regularly, I know you do, but if others don't watch it regularly, a lot of times people default back to Sam and they go to Cliff, and when you see, or they just remember the Norm, but when you go watch some of George Wendt's deliveries on stuff, this guy is a comedy master. His delivery is so insane. He'll just sit on it. So something like Man of the House, I'm not a big Jonathan Taylor Thomas fan. Tony knows that, obviously. But like, you put Chevy Chase, who's a delivery master, with George Wendt, that's a fun idea.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure that it doesn't do well, though.
No, it does okay. I mean, it's like a $20 million movie. It made like 40.
Okay, so Tiger Beat had a whole section on it. Tiger Beat magazine had a whole.
We are getting to the end of like the Chevy Chase starring vehicles in
Yep.
theaters era.
Yep.
Fortunately, he's got Vegas Vacation coming out after this. Does have that one coming, and then he's got like the last one I where he's kind of like a starring vehicle would be Snow Day in 2000,
And that's
and
a
then
Disney film, right?
and that Snow Day comes
Yeah.
out in ensemble cast, but he's got kind of a lead ish in that, and but outside of that, I mean, he's going to pop up in he pops up in a lot of stuff, but never as like a true lead again. Not theatrical stuff anyway. I know he has like he's has like some couple streamers come out with him and uh Dreyfus are in a movie together.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
but yeah, so I mean, it's kind of sad because it's that era. I mean, I think there were a lot of people who were having trouble working with Chevy in a lot of ways. If you haven't seen his documentary, that's a good thing to check out. So, well, I love Chevy Chase, but I know he had the issues. I mean, everyone knows, but yeah, I mean, but he's good in these types of movies. I always think it's funny though because when you go back and you watch his documentary, you go watch some of the stuff that's right, and then he's getting paired with a lot of kids in a lot of his movies.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It's awkward.
So I did a movie in 2021. Well, you and I worked with him before, but I went back and when I worked, you and I both worked with Ethan Embry um, on Convergence in 2013, and then I did another movie. I've done other movies with him since. In 2021, I did Last Seen Alive, and I had brought a poster with me of Vegas Vacation to get signed. So we started talking about that, and I was like, I mean, with Chevy, with all his issues and stuff like that, how was he with kids? And he's like, man, he was really great with me. He's kept telling me, he's like, he was really great with me, but he gets like, I think he was cool with the kids, but he was like, had issues with other people. So the kids were fine. So it's interesting. It's interesting to get that perspective from kind of one of the younger actors that he worked with. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I did not know I watched Scream 7 recently.
Yes, I told you to watch it.
And I know. And I'm watching it with Sarah because that's Scream is her favorite horror series. And we're watching it, and I didn't know that Ethan was in it. I had no idea. So this guy shows up, and I'm like, who is that? Ethan Embry? Because like he looks totally different. And I'm like, his character, without, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but his character, I was like, hey, his acting kind of reminds me of how we used Ethan Embry in a project on a movie called Convergence. Not quite as serious, but like ours was a little more serious. But I was like, it's kind of giving those vibes. Fun movie, very fun. Got some very graphic scenes in it, but it was fun to see Ethan Embry pop back up in a movie that was calling back to all these '90s references. It was good. It was good stuff.
Saw the theaters. I texted you. I texted Brian Pitt, who also worked with Ethan on a couple of projects, and I said, you guys got to watch this movie, like immediately. Like, you guys got to watch this film. I'm not gonna tell you
Yeah.
why. Just watch the film. But Ethan lives in Atlanta now.
Okay, great.
And that film was shot in Atlanta. Scream 7.
Gotcha.
So it kind of helped him probably get that role, which is great, which is awesome. But
No,
when
it's super
he
fun.
does pop up on screen the first time, you're kind of looking at him like, who the hell is that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. For sure.
But he's great.
For sure.
He's a great dude. Yeah.
So that rolls us into March 10th, and it sets up a movie that maybe you remember if we saw this together or not, but I know I've seen it again with my dad. So I don't know if I ended up seeing this twice in theaters or if you have a better story angle on that. But it's the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman and oh my God, I see your face. Why can't I think of her name? Thank you, Renee Russo. And I loved this movie.
Really good. Yeah. Yeah. No,
it's a medical thriller.
Yeah, we didn't see it together.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Wolfgang Peterson, and he's direct. That guy could direct these types of thrillers and action movies. He's great. Wolfgang Peterson's awesome. Got a great catalog. Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, Morgan Freeman, Donald Sutherland, Cuba Gooding Jr., Kevin Spacey, Patrick Dempsey. Hey, man, doesn't get a lot better than that.
No, and the movie shows it. The movie is phenomenal. Each one of these people is a unique character. They all carry the movie. They all do and have great roles in the movie. It's a medical thriller. It's about an outbreak, but it's a medical thriller. It's really well made. Really well made.
And it made like $190 million worldwide on a $50 million budget. It did really well. But yeah, it's like, it's ahead of its time a little bit, because we're going to get into pandemics years later. But why blame the monkey?
That means you got to shock the monkey, buddy.
What are we doing?
Look, it was good. It was good. It was good. I loved it.
We know this thing was made in the lab somewhere. Why are we talking about the monkey? The poor monkey gets blamed for this. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That was my only issue. I'm like, come on, man, don't do that. Find another one.
If you haven't seen it, it's actually it kind of has, is it a Crichton story? It's not a Crichton film though, is it? Michael Crichton? I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
But if you haven't seen it, it has that kind of vibe to it. Again, Wolfgang Peterson is Das Boot, but he's also done a tremendous amount of work. But the movie plays really well. The reason I enjoy it so much is that it stacks upon itself, and there's a couple of twists and turns. There's things that happen you don't see coming, and character again. Every character, every actor that's in this, their roles are all substantial. Nothing is diminished. It's not a stunt cast. It's not a throwaway cast. Everybody serves a really great purpose. And again, it's one of my favorite thrillers of all time. Because I partly because I have a fond memory of seeing it with my dad. My dad was a pediatrician. He's retired since, and so he loved medical thrillers like this. My mom would not go see it, but I did see it with my pops, and I have a fond memory of it. So again, it was a fun scenario to the few times where science and movies and me made sense, because my dad's other favorite movie is Contact, which is my least favorite film. Not the least. It's high on the list of, I don't like a lot of Jodie Foster films now that I'm saying this out loud, apparently, but I don't like that one.
Great actress. She's a great
She's
actress.
great, just not for me.
She's made some movies that Drew has fallen asleep in.
A lot of them,
No doubt
a lot,
about it. Yes.
and and even True Detective, I fell asleep.
I don't know what it is, man. It's like something about her films just don't always wow you. You know what I mean?
No,
I've watched
I don't know, but Panic Room did. Panic Room's phenomenal.
Panic Room is really good. But at the same time, it's a really great cast too.
Yep,
So there's
yep.
a lot of other stuff happening. Since you don't always see her in that movie, there's stuff happening.
I see where you're going.
You know, no, it's good. She's great. I mean, but it is funny that we have mentioned some of her movies not always being our favorites. I mean, Nell is awful.
Yeah, Nell is not good.
It's an awful film. It's an awful
It's just
film.
not a good movie. Contact is legitimately a good movie. I just don't like it.
Yeah. No, Contact is good. At the time it wasn't my favorite, but I do like it better now. I like it better now than you do. I know that.
Mm, yeah, it's
Uh,
tough for me.
no, I don't even want to revisit it. I really don't. But
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. There's Chuck Norris movies that need to be watched, Tony. So March 17th, we get Bye Bye Love.
yes,
I'm going to be honest with you. Both the movies you have listed here, I don't remember them at all. So you're going to have to carry the show, pal. Prepare yourself. I hope you got a strong back because I'm clocking out on you unless you can remind me of what these are.
so this is a 19 romantic comedy, Bye Bye Love, that I saw in theaters and saw on video, and yeah, I liked this film. Wasn't by any means a huge hit. It made like $13 million at the box office. It's funny, I was looking, and I've thought about this before, but I was looking at this cast again, and man, there's no way they could make this movie today because certain people are deceased, but more importantly, I don't know if they could get these people to all agree to be on the same movie together. I mean, it's Matthew Modine, who's an amazing actor. He's an amazing. It's Randy Quaid,
Normal Randy Quaid.
normal Randy Quaid, right? Paul Reiser, Janine Garofalo,
Yeah, there's no way.
Rob Reiner. Can you imagine having Rob Reiner and Randy Quaid on the same film these days?
With Janine Garofalo backing up Rob Reiner, can you? I can't even. It would never work.
There's no way. There's producers would never do it. It would never happen. I mean, I like all the people, but it's a great cast. It's got all those folks. It's got Amy Brenneman. It's got Mae Whitman, Lindsay Krause. I mean, it's a really cool cast. Johnny Whitworth. But it's just funny, man. It's also got Danny Masterson in it too.
Yeah, he's canceled. Goodbye.
He's not going to be in any movies anymore. Yeah, I mean, but it was a
You
good
know
movie.
what though? It has Eliza. She was probably a kid, but it has Eliza Dushku in it, and she grows up to be a smoke show.
Yeah, no, she's good in this. But it's got a really really good cast about these families and these parents. So it's like about the whole issue of divorce and how they separate from their spouses and how it affects the kids and stuff. There's a lot. It's really funny. There's a lot of good humor involved with all these guys. I mean, I enjoyed the film immensely when I've seen it every time. I've just seen probably about 3 or 4 times since it came out. Good film, worth the watch for sure. Uh, you know, yeah. Just looking at that cast, I just know it could never happen.
No way. No way.
I do like Randy Quaid though and Rob Reiner though, but that is
I like Janine Garofalo. I mean, it's just you know, I just don't like everybody's politics, and some of these people are very loud,
well,
very
yeah,
loud.
for both sides. And it's funny because it's as much as Randy Quaid's been affected by that too. Janine Garofalo's been affected by it on the other end. Like
Yeah.
nobody wants all that on their set. It's like that's the way it is. Rob Reiner got to do a lot of stuff because he worked behind as
Yeah.
well. That helped.
Yeah.
That helped. In Friends in High Places in a lot of ways too. But he even experienced a lot of that. Once you get too loud, sometimes it's not a good thing. So that's the way it goes. And then the same day we have a movie here, and this cast is quite amazing. Totally different vibe of a film, completely different. That's more of a romantic comedy with maybe a couple dramatic elements in it. This is pure drama all the way, and that's Losing Isaiah, which has Jessica Lange and Halle Berry and David Strathairn, Cuba Gooding Jr., Samuel L. Jackson, uh, and it's directed by Stephen Gyllenhaal. Yes, of that Gyllenhaal family,
That's their
being
dad, right?
Jake and Maggie's dad. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
So it's a pretty good movie. So basically, what this is Halle Berry is a crack addict. So she's really dialed down in this movie because she's pretty 95 and she's really dialed down in this film because she's playing a crack addict and she has a baby, um, and she gets rid of the baby by putting it like in a box in the back alley, and it
God.
almost gets run over by a truck, and there's
Ah,
and it's bad, and it ends up at the hospital, and of course they have to treat it because she was pregnant and on crack, so the baby is now a crack addict as well, and so it ends up that Jessica Lange ends up caring for this baby and becomes so fond of it that goes through the adoption process to adopt the child, and then it we fast forward a few years later, and you've got Halle Berry's now in rehab, and she's getting out of rehab, and now she has made a comment up to her to her psychologist about um, having a child, and so psychologist goes back and looks for the child and is able to find it, and then it starts this whole process of her trying to get this baby back, this child back, hiring the lawyer who's played by Samuel L. Jackson, and so forth. It's a very good film. But it's
it
very.
sounds like it's a gut punch, one gut punch after another.
It does have a pretty, it does come up with a pretty kind of sugary sweet happy ending. I'm not gonna, which I won't disclose since I don't think a lot of people have actually seen it. But yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Didn't do particularly well. It was like a $16 million film that made like $8 million at the time. So tough movie to
Well, it
watch.
feels too real. I mean, that's my thing about some of these movies. Sometimes if you put out something that's like, I've seen this on not this exact story, but I've seen this on the news, the terrible things. I don't necessarily want to go to the theater and spend money to escape to that. Now, in the theme, if Chuck Norris was in this movie and he saved the kid from the truck,
love it,
and then Chuck Norris raises the kid, and
right.
someone tries to come and take the kid, and Chuck Norris kicks everyone in the face, I'm in.
You've gone a different direction, but that's okay. I mean that you've this family drama into an action movie, which is good. That's what. That's why you're making money. That's why your movie's making money, and this one's not.
If we had a fantasy booking league, and all it was Chuck Norris in the same, just drop him into any movie, doesn't matter what it is, just drop him in as Chuck Norris, and they're all this. That's what Golan Globus and Canon Films did, dude. They just took Chuck Norris, plugged him into a movie, and he did some cool stuff, and he Chuck Norris his way out of it, and that's what made it work. But guess what? I knew what I was getting. I was getting some escapism.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. No, it's great. I mean, when you turn those movies on, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting when you watch action. You're getting and he is missing in action, damn it.
Yeah, that's all I need, man. And I'm grateful for him for doing that.
Yes. No, I agree with you. Good times, my friend.
So what we're gonna do is we know that we've gotten in a rhythm of doing movies, but in the sakeness of time here, because we like to keep the show to an hour. In the sake of that, we're gonna come back next episode. We'll close out March, and we're gonna do our favorite little segment of digging through albums.
Which is loaded.
I'm sure. I'm
March
sure.
5 is loaded with big album releases. Yeah.
That's great. That's what we need. Good times.
Good times.
Because March movies, not enough Chuck Norris.
No, not enough Chuck Norris. You love Chuck.
He was on TV, though. You can watch him on Walker, Texas Ranger season, whatever, 8, 6.
You can try to
7,
find
6.
where you're going to find him. It used to be on TBS all the time. Like, you used to see these movies on TBS all the time. Like, Chuck Norris films were there all the time.
I tell you where you can see it, on our not official sponsor, Pluto TV. That's right, folks. If you have Pluto TV, you can watch Walker, Texas Ranger, and hundreds and thousands of other shows right now. PlutoTV.com.
For free.
For free. I didn't put that part in. That's why they won't give us a deal.
Yes, for free. You can watch Pluto TV for free, and you should be watching Pluto TV for free because it's amazing.
Well, let's be honest. That's That's probably one of the only places you're going to find some of these movies. I'm not even kidding.
Oh,
this is not even.
It's hard. I mean, like I dig. Like I said, you can go on IMDb.com. You can type in a film, and underneath it, you'll list kind of where it is, like where in some of these spots. It's hard to keep up with them, but obviously you can find these things on DVD and VHS and whatnot. But I know people. I mean, I went into. Speaking of that, I went into a Target not that long ago, like a couple weeks back. Dude, they don't even sell DVDs.
No, they're done.
They have vinyl.
Yeah, they have Target exclusive vinyl.
They have a whole big section of vinyl records. What is happening? What
I don't know.
Doing? No, I mean, as a guy who collects vinyl, I love it. But what, like, you can't give me like one little section of DVDs.
Apparently not.
You got 8. You got like 3 or 4 big racks of books. There was a Space Jam section.
New Space Jam or LeBron Space Jam?
Oh, like old Space Jam.
That's what I meant. Old Space Jam. Yeah.
An entire row of it, an entire aisle of it.
Good grief!
Because we were in the middle, we were getting to start March Madness, so they thought there was a good way to get rid of some Space Jam items. So that was at Target. Well, we can't get like a little rack of DVDs anywhere anymore. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they've moved all this. I don't know why physical is that restrictive, because half the time you can't find stuff. Which, again, if you are stuck to streaming, Pluto TV, I'll just give you an example. Just while we were talking, Invasion USA is available right now on Pluto TV.
It is.
Chuck Norris, Invasion USA, Pluto TV.
Pluto TV, and you can watch them. You can watch them on demand there.
Yeah, that's what's great.
A lot of stuff is on demand there. Or you can go to, and they have a huge amount of movie channels on Pluto TV too.
Oh, yeah.
They got movie channels, for people that like, they got them separated in races for people who like that crap, for people who only want to watch a certain race of people. They have entire channels dedicated to certain races. I'm not even beginning to kid. It exists.
No, it's true. They're there for you.
But they're there for you. So Pluto's got it all, man. Pluto is the one. No doubt about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna close out the show with our Pluto ad, and then we're gonna be back next week, or next episode rather, with the rest of March with huge album reviews, which typically means we're gonna go down a pathway of like, who knows how many new synopses are gonna get formed in my brain, or old synopses are gonna get revisited as Tony lists off albums I can't even believe I owned at one point, and he'll still have the CD somewhere.
I do.
Long gone. Yeah. We're going to go over that. So anything else you want to say before we close this bad boy out, T?
Oh, man, just be, let's go. Let's go and have a great finish to the March Madness tournament, man. NCAA tournament. There's nothing like it on the planet.